Okay, so I'm assuming everybody is can hear us. If there is anybody who can't hear us, you can just type in into your chat window. Okay, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone, depending on which part of the globe you are joining us from today. And welcome to this webinar on facilitating the well-being of our elderly parents in today's fast-paced life. I am Archana Sharma and I am the founder and managing director of Samvedna Senior Care. Like many of you here, I too have a corporate background and I've worked for about 20 years before I started Samvedna Senior Care. And what we have gathered here to discuss is a topic which is very close to my heart also. And I would just briefly talk about Samvedna before we would get into the discussion. So we started Samvedna Senior Care in October 2013, and our primary goal was to facilitate the graceful and dignified aging for the elderly. And we are primarily focused on giving intellectual companionship and catering to the social and emotional needs of the elderly within their comfort of their homes and communities. And most of our staff who work with us are either postgraduates in clinical psychology, or they are masters in social work, or they have degrees or diplomas in gerontology, which is the science of aging, and they are highly experienced staff working across multicultural elderlies, and with a deep sense of empathy, they service the elderly. So I would now like to introduce to you my colleague Devastuti Barwa. Her name is Simi. She's a clinical psychologist as well as a postgraduate in gerontology, and she would be talking about the the agenda for the day. And over to you, Simi.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. And I would like to welcome you all again for this webinar. And we really appreciate you for taking out the time to attend it on a Saturday morning. So today we will be having a discussion on how to help our elderly parents age gracefully by ensuring their well-being. I believe today everyone is so busy in their fast-paced life that we often tend to fulfill only the materialistic needs of our parents, and somewhere we lack in providing that emotional support which they desire for. So while ensuring well-being for our elderly parents, we do that by maintaining their independence for as long as possible, by arranging for appropriate care, and very important is involving them while planning their care. So for today's webinar, we will be discussing about the psychology and how the psychology of our elderly changes, and with it, what are the challenges that we face while looking after our elderly parents. So a brief discussion about aging. Aging, as we all know, is an inevitable and an irreversible process. While talking about aging, we only focus mostly on the physical changes, the diseases which comes along with age. But we often tend to ignore the psychological and the emotional aspect of it, which is equally important with that the emotional changes which comes along with age. A very common question which we face is, why are my parents being so difficult? And over here, before answering this question, I would like to share one of my cases which I have come across. This is about a 80-year-old lady who lives in Delhi with her husband, who is a retired Air Force officer. She is a very active homemaker and has been managing her house completely on her own. Few years back, after her husband's demise and due to her health issues, she had to shift in with her son and his family. Suddenly, she felt very lost moving in with her son where her daughter-in-law is already running the house. Now she's suddenly lost. She doesn't have a purpose in her life. And while preparing for this webinar, when I asked her for her views, she shared that the major impact where she felt after this change is that now she feels that she has lost her freedom. Now, before doing anything, while making any minor decision, she has to think what her son or what her daughter-in-law might think about it. So aging, as we all know, that it is a biological as well as a social and a psychological process. So it's very important to understand the changes which comes along with aging. And today we will be focusing a little bit on how the thought process changes as we age. Now over here, I would like to start with a theory, which is the Erik Erikson's theory on the psychosocial stages of development. So the last stage here is called as the despair versus ego integrity, where a person, when he reaches the age of 60, is faced with a conflict. So at this age, when a person goes back to the past and reflects on it, two things happen. First, either a person can be satisfied with his life and it will lead to ego integrity, and thereby he will accept his or her mortality without much resistance. On the other hand, if the person has some guilt over some past mistakes or wrong decisions taken, he or she will go into despair, which will make him prone to depression and other insecurities. Now, with aging, we should also understand that there are certain major transitions which become major life events in one's life. Now, these transitions can be widowhood, loss of independence, both financial as well as physical, shifting in to live with children, social withdrawal, and lesser roles and responsibilities. And it can have a major impact or major blow to their self-esteem and their self-confidence. Moreover, another thing is that it is very unlikely that elderly parents will share their expectations with their children. But when these expectations are not fulfilled, it starts showing up in their behavior. So with these changes, our elderly become prone to loneliness, which is one of the major issue which we face in our old age. So loneliness, which is one of the most important and the most common issue which an elderly person faces in old age. Today, longevity has increased to such a point where we are talking about third innings of our life, which starts from 70. Now, living up to 100 is not a rare thing anymore. So, utilizing these 30 years of life in a productive manner is a very big challenge, and this is the time when loneliness sets in. Research shows that a major reason behind this loneliness is the breaking up of joint family traditions and increasing migration. At the same time, advancements in technology has actually bridged the gap and brought loved ones closer. Nowadays, children are in constant contact with their parents through video calls. But here we have to understand the fact that technology is bringing us together in a virtual world, and it can never be the same as being physically present. So even if we are in constant contact with our parents, they still feel the void in our life, and this void is also increased by the multiple loss which they undergo during at old age. So now that we have understood that loneliness is one of the major issues. Now another thing is that our elderly usually they never share that they are feeling lonely. Instead, it can be seen in their behavior. They will start engaging in attention seeking behavior, which can be in the form of continuous physical ailments or pains and aches, or very negative and depressive thought process, which is furthermore reinforced by the constant comparison between the changes in the past and their present life. So now, with all these changes which a person undergoes as he or she ages, caregiving becomes a difficult task for their children. So now we will start discussing some of the challenges which the caregivers face while caregiving. So now I would like to do a poll. And I would like to ask you all to put in their views on which is the most common challenge which they face while dealing with their elderly parents. Okay, so I'd like you all to type in the most common challenge which you face while dealing with your elderly parents, and I'm sure we'll be able to answer most of your queries during our presentation. So continuing with the challenges. Okay, so we have got a couple of questions, and one of them is dealing with the lack of confidence and loneliness in their elderly parents. So as I've shared, key loneliness is one of the most common issue which elderly faces. So this becomes a challenge while dealing with them. So coming on to the challenges, the most important challenge which even we have come across while dealing with the elderly is communicating with them. Now communication becomes difficult because we have to understand that the children and the elderly, they have their own mindsets and we cannot impose it on them. As our parents grow older, our roles also begins to reverse. Children, many of whom have their own families to care for, slowly or suddenly find themselves playing the role of primary caregivers for their aging parents. The fact that children start becoming the ones to offer opinions and make decisions about how their parents should live is not very comfortable. As a result, such conversations that need to take place frequently end up being avoided altogether. In some situations, half information or partial information may be conveyed to parents and they will make up their own assumptions leading to misinterpretations. So these are some of the reasons which leads to the communication gap which happens between children and parents. Now, to deal with this communication issue, I believe the most important requirement is patience and lots of patience. Patience should be in such an extent that the child should be comfortable listening to the same problem every day from their parents without imposing any judgments of their own. Because here we have to understand that our elderly parents can become anxious over very minute things. For example, if the cab is late by 10 minutes, it might affect our parents more as compared to us. So we have to understand this, and accordingly we should be patient enough to listen to all their worries. Secondly, in order to clear out all the miscommunications, the family members should be vocal enough and voice out their opinions, and everyone should be given that opportunity to do so. If any one of them do not get the opportunity to express, it will have an effect on the whole caregiving process. So family meetings are a very important part, and so that everyone is on the same page and everyone is equally informed on what decisions have been taken regarding care of their parents. And lastly, providing lots of assurance is very important to their parents, which will help them reduce their anxiety. Now, after communication, one of the second most important challenge which children face is resistance in accepting care from their children. Now, this resistance can come as refusing to accept any financial help, or refusing to accept any form of physical help, or refusing to shift in with their children. So, resistance can be in any form. But one of the major reasons behind this resistance is that parents, the moment they realize that they need care, is the thing that they are undergoing some form of loss. This loss can be physical loss, it can be mental loss, or it can be loss of independence. So accepting care might mean giving up on their privacy and adjusting to new routines. So they might feel anxious and vulnerable and angry at the same time, as he or she needs help, or guilty about the idea that they are becoming a burden on their children. For some people, accepting help might be a blow to their self-esteem, while some people might be worried about the cost of certain type of care. In some cases, memory loss might also make it difficult for our elderly parents to understand why he or she needs help. So over here, I would again like to share an instance. For example, for example, if a son wants to keep an attendant for his mother as she has balancing issues and had a couple of falls, but the mother saw it as being imposed on her, and as a result, instead of communicating it to her son, she started behaving difficult towards the attendant. So how do we manage or avoid such issues? Now, in this situation, we have to understand that the mother is not upset that an attendant is being kept for her, but the fact that she did not get the chance to take this decision for herself is pinching her more. And instead of communicating this thing with her son, she took out her anger or her frustration on the attendant, which made things worse. So it might always seem easier for children to take decisions for the well-being of their parents, but it is not a very good thing for their parents. Parents do not see it in a positive light. So, while dealing with resistance to accept care, the first thing which we should avoid doing is start parenting our parents. We should avoid we should avoid parenting our parents. Instead, we should involve in collective decision making, where everyone, as I've mentioned earlier, gets the equal chance to express their side of the story, and then we can come to some common grounds and decide a best care plan for which can be suitable for both the sides. Secondly, while introducing some form of help or providing some care to our parents, instead of imposing it on them, we should show them the positives. That how by taking this care will help them retain their independence for as long as possible, and accepting some assistance might help him or her live in her own home for as long as possible. So we should focus on the positives rather than the negatives. Also, we should also remind them that compromises needs to be made from both the sides. And most importantly, we should avoid fighting with our loved ones over minor issues related for his or her care. Instead, we should explain that loss of independence isn't a personal failing, and we should instead help them to stay active and design an active and healthy lifestyle through which they can lead a productive life. So the next challenge which we are going to discuss is how caregiving can become a burden at times. So over here, I would again like to ask you all a question, like whether you all have difficulty in managing your roles as a parent yourself and as a child to your elderly parents. You can just type in your answer, whether yes or no, and we can discuss it during our presentation. I hope everyone is following, and I hope it's familiar to most of them. So yes, we have got some questions and we will be answering them, and we'll be discussing most of these questions through our presentation. And if you have any queries, you can kindly type in all your queries, and then we will be discussing them at the end. So as we were discussing that caregiving can sometimes become a burden on the caregiver. Now there are some reasons why caregiving can become a burden. One of them is when a person has to look after his elderly parents while raising his own family, that person usually falls in the sandwich generation where there is pressure from both sides, and this can make caregiving a very this can make caregiving a burden at times. Managing expectations of our elderly parents, managing their appointments, the wait times in doctor's office, driving to and fro from healthcare facilities, all these things can at times take a toll on the caregiver, and it can lead to a burnout. Another very important reason for caregiving becoming a burden is the management of finances. Because over here we are not talking about a 30-year-old looking after his 65-year-old father. Here the situation is a 55-year-old looking after his 85-year-old father. So this child might face the dilemma on whether to invest on his 25-year-old daughter or on the care of his 85-year-old father. In such situations, stress can easily take a toll on the caregiver, and it needs to be managed before your stress reaches that point of burnout. And a very important thing here is setting healthy boundaries in our relationship. Children have to accept the fact that old age will have a number of issues, and sorting problems will be an ongoing process. Becoming too enmeshed in relationships will make a caregiver more prone to a burnout. Secondly, having some me time is very important. A caregiver should understand again that life moves on along with the caregiving responsibilities, and caregiving might become more demanding with time. So it is very important to share your responsibilities so that you can take some time off from your caregiving role. Again, taking professional help is very important. First of all, to vent out your stress, as well as the professional help can also help you in providing best care to your parents and also relieving you from some of your caregiving duties. And then we come on to another challenge which we face in our caregiving while ensuring well-being to our elderly parents is the cultural barrier. Now, I feel this cultural barrier has a role in all the challenges which we face. Over here, I would like to share a very simple incident. Like elderly, they like doing things on their own, no matter how tedious or time consuming it is. For example, he or she would rather go to the same hospital where they have been going for a long time and is resistant to change their doctor even when better options are available. Now, I believe such incidents must be familiar to all of you, and the major reason behind such resistance is that doing things their own way gives them a sense of control, no matter how long or how time consuming it may be. Moreover, children has to understand that elderly cannot look at a particular thing from our perspective. They will have their own mindsets about things, and so they will behave accordingly. And in such a situation, if we impose our view, it will end up in an argument. A lot of elderly also think from a collectivist view. Before doing anything, they will think about their opinion, think about what others might have an opinion on it, what opinions others might have on it. And based on this collective opinion, elders will put in their opinion. On the other hand, a child must be thinking only from the perspective of their parents. A child must be thinking what's best for their parents. So here a conflict might be created between the child and the elderly parent. Moreover, the cultural stigmas which are associated to the retirement societies, the stigmas associated to accepting professional help, taking counseling, makes the caregiving process further more difficult. And while dealing with such issues, we have to understand that mindsets have been formed over the years of experience and becomes a very important part of one's personality. And when anyone challenges it, a person might become defensive. So over here, communication plays a very crucial role. Proper communication needs to take place where both the parties gets a chance to express their views. Keeping in consideration, some common grounds can be achieved and a decision can be taken. Again, over here, I'd like to state that expert guidance is very important because the professional who will be coming will not have any bias towards both the sides, and so this professional can find out a neutral ground, work on a neutral ground and design a care plan for their parents. And finally, the last challenge which I'd like to discuss, and one of the most vulnerable challenge, is sharing our responsibility between the siblings. So in the, sharing our responsibilities can become a challenge due to a number of reasons. First of all, if siblings have to look after both the parents. Secondly, if there is only one child, then the whole responsibility falls into his care. So he has to share it with either other social workers or other professional help. Then sometimes, siblings view their parents' need in a different way. And on the other hand, another very important challenge is that one sibling being physically present while the other one is away. It's very hard to accept that our parents now need our help. Unless there is a sudden crisis like a stroke or something, adjusting to this new reality takes time. Some children have to work through their denial that anything serious is wrong, while others might just feel reluctant to get involved, fearing they are meddling in their parents' life. Moreover, when one child is present physically and the others are settled abroad, it becomes a challenge in deciding a mutual care plan for parents. To the primary caregiver, the one who is physically present, is he can see that his parent is less and less able to handle the everyday needs. He can see that his parent requires assistance with grocery shopping, with cooking, and with advancing memory loss or fading eyesight and painful joints. He or she needs help with all the activities of daily living. But sharing this view with the sibling living apart, it becomes a challenge. And it is a very common thing that very often thoughts might occur on how easy it is to just advise on how care should be done while being away, and the one physically present have to face all the problems while providing that care. So in such situation, it is very important for the siblings to understand that they have ultimately the same goal, that is to provide care for their parents. They might have different ways to do it. So instead of avoiding such conversations, they should engage in frequent conversations and frequent communication so that they understand each other's point of view and can decide on ways by which their responsibilities do not fall only on one of them. So now that we have discussed some of the most common challenges which we face while ensuring well-being to our senior parents, but our sole motive remains the same. That is providing, ensuring that our elderly parents, they age gracefully and that they adapt well with the changes that comes along with age. So now in here over here we have to understand that well-being is not a single concept. It has a number of dimensions under it, and to achieve overall well-being we have to look into all these dimensions. Physical well-being. Over here I mentioned certain dimensions of well-being, and physical well-being being one of the most important of them. We have to ensure that our elderly is engaged in some form of physical activity according to their health needs, as it is very important to keep them productive. Now, second comes the social well-being. It is very important that they should have a strong community support who can be their extended family, and they can spend quality time being engaged in meaningful activities. Similarly, being engaged in spiritual activities also improves their sense of well-being and gives them a purpose in life. And finally, coming on to psychological well-being, this is the most important dimension of well-being, which has an effect on all the other dimensions. That is, psychological well-being means that assurance that my children, my family is there for me and will come for my help whenever I require them. So this feeling, this sense of security is very important to help them age gracefully and reduce all their insecurities. So at the end, I would just like to say that ultimately they are our parents, and just like any other challenge which we come across in life, we have to overcome these challenges too, and we have to help our parents age gracefully. Thank you so much for listening to us patiently. And now I would like you all to type in all the queries that you have. And thank you so much. And I'll be handing over now to Archana.
Thank you, Simi. And I would request you all to please type in your questions. We are very sorry that we could not do the poll questions. There was some technical glitch, but uh, please feel free to type in your questions and we will address them one at a time. And in case you don't have a question right now, but you would like to ask us something later on, then you can always email to us. In the meantime, I would just like to talk very briefly about our services. We have different services catering to the emotional and social needs of elderly, and our intellectual wellness program is primarily designed keeping the emotional health in mind of the elderly and keeping their mind stimulated. We also assist elderly with hospital visits and doctor's visits and help them manage their medication. Besides this, we have an activity center, which is a community environment for elderly to spend time. It's in Gurgaon, and we are going to open one shortly in Delhi. And here at the center, we have computer trainings, we have workshops, dance, music. It's a go-to place. It's like a hangout zone for senior citizens to come and spend quality time. And besides this, we also provide emergency respite services for the times when when you would just like to have somebody there in India or in a different city available to you in case of an emergency. Then we can step in and support you. And dementia intervention is one of our niche service areas where we provide uh, quality in-home counseling services for dementia patients and their caregivers. So I'm seeing that there are some questions, and Simi, would you like to answer them?
Okay, so here we have some of the questions, the queries which we have. One of them is how to ensure that our parents are not feeling lonely. So over here, as I have discussed, that social well-being, ensuring social well-being plays a very important role here. So, because since children are not physically present with their parents, it's very important that they should have a friend circle of their own. They should have, if your parents are spiritual or religious, they should have such kind of a place to go. And your role might be very simple, just arranging for the commute to go to a temple or any other place, or just go to the mall with some same age people. So it's very important that they have a social life, because mostly what happens is, after the age of, in fact, if after retirement everyone has a plan, so they work on it, but after the age of maybe 70, 75, it becomes very difficult to decide on a plan on how to spend your time productively. So this is where they need help from their children in helping them decide what they can do and what not. So I believe being socially active is a very important aspect in reducing loneliness in our elderly parents.
Okay, one of the questions is that if you are planning to open a center in Bangalore, we are planning to open a center in Bangalore, but towards the end of 2016. Um, but we can start home visits in Bangalore anytime. If there is a requirement to visit the elderly regularly at home, we can do that.
Okay, so another question which we have got are that parents are resistant in making changes, infrastructural changes in the home. The children might be interested in making their home senior friendly, installing grab bars and railings, but parents are very hesitant to make those changes. I'm sure that change, nobody likes change. Everyone likes to be in their own space, and especially making changes in the infrastructure is a major disturbance. But in this case, I believe the children should speak with their parents and show them the importance of getting those handrails or the grab bars installed, and how it will play a role in retaining their independence. So over here, and I believe the most important thing, as I've already said, is patience. So if the first conversation ends up in an argument, the child should not give up. I think they should try again another time and keep on trying. And I'm sure parents will ultimately understand the importance of it, no matter how much resistance they have. And gradually, that thing can be achieved. Now we have another question. Have you finalized the location of Delhi Center?
Yeah, we're still in the process of finalizing the location in Delhi Center. By middle of January, we would have identified that place. So it's still work in progress. Um, but our goal is to open one center in Delhi by March, end of March 2016. Okay, so if there are no more questions, just a quick check. The problems which, the challenges which Simi shared just now, is that something all of you have faced or in the past or are facing right now? Just a quick raise of hands, just so that we see that. Is there anything else you think we should be addressing in these webinars, because we do plan to have a series of these, and if there's any other topic you think we should be discussing and covering, then you please do write back to us, or you can put it in the chat window and we'll take feedback. Okay, good. For nursing care, we have a tie-up with another organization, and we can give that reference. We are not, as of now, we are not into nursing care. We are primarily into intellectual and interactive caregiving. But we do have tie-ups with some of the organizations, and we can definitely help you with that. And our home visits in Delhi right now, sure, we can provide you those references. So I will email it to you, and if you can just send me a note on your requirements, then I will either just put you in touch with that organization, and I'll introduce you. And our services are there all over NCR. So we are based in Gurgaon, but we have services in Delhi, Noida, and East, West, all parts of Delhi. And in case you would like to reach out to us for your, for meeting your parents and doing an assessment, and um, um, advising you on how we could help you, do write back to us at this email ID, contact@samvednacare.com, and we can schedule a visit with your parents at a time convenient to them and go and meet them. And then if you are there, that's very good. Otherwise, we can go and meet them, and then provide you the feedback and input as to how we can take it forward.
Okay, thank you so much for participating in this webinar, and I hope this webinar will be helpful in dealing with your parents. And if you have any other queries, you can always email us and we will get back to you. And
And if you would like a copy of this presentation, please do let us know and we'll email it to you.
okay, so thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.